All right. So thank you for joining me today, Leland, for this episode of Assets and Algorithms, where we dive into the companies contributing to the real estate industry through technology. So I appreciate you joining us, and we're going to dive in a little bit about what you're doing with Vroombrick as the founder of the company and what your mission is and some of the industry trends we're seeing in prop tech. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the current landscape of real estate in general, there's a lot of tech tools out there, but most of them are built to benefit realtors, make their jobs more efficient. But then you look at the historical price of commission over time, and you would think that these tools would help drive down costs for consumers, but they have not. So there's all these artificial, invisible strings holding up commission and what really is the root of that? There's a combination of factors. It comes down to data being monopolized. We talk about, as a former realtor, MLS is the database where all homes are listed. Realtors can do what they want with that information. They own it. But at the end of the day, what that allows consumers, or what that creates for consumers, is just this one avenue for being able to have their own scene in a high traffic area. So when it comes down to it, MLS is creating kind of this environment where if I'm a realtor, I have access to the most up-to-date information. Where Vroombrick comes in is we allow you to interact with that marketplace through procedural guidance. And we take an opposite approach to the overall, some of the startups out there that are trying to create these marketplaces. We don't care about being a marketplace. What we want to do is arm our buyers and sellers with the tools they need to buy and sell homes on their own and return savings to them as users.
That's a really great mission, and I appreciate your assessment of the current offerings on the marketplace. Could you just share a little bit about your role and how what your day-to-day looks like at Vroombricks?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I looked a little bit into your background, and, I know that you work at Intuit. And so it's kind of cool because one of the analogies we like to use here at Vroombrick is that we're like the TurboTax of real estate. You don't necessarily need an accountant or CPA to do your taxes. And, at Vroombrick, we believe that you don't need a realtor to buy or sell a home. You can do that through our guided platform. And it is pretty similar to how TurboTax works for taxes. So our day to day, and it really looks like making sure customers have successful interactions on our platform buying homes, because unlike taxes, buying a home or selling a home usually occurs over like a 30-day process. So our team is responsible for connecting you to the right stakeholders, because there are stakeholders like lenders, attorneys, home inspectors that we think are a necessary part of the transaction. But we've taken what a realtor does, automated most of it through our software, and then what our team does is help you with any scheduling or administrative tasks, and those are updated directly on your Vroombrick buyer or seller dashboard.
Awesome. That dashboard that you're talking about and the resources that you provide and the connections that you provide for buyers is I think really game changing and where the industry is going right now. Could you tell me a little bit about any major shifts that you're seeing in the industry and ways that you'd like to position because of them?
Yeah, in terms of major shifts, the biggest thing I'm noticing is just consumer sentiment towards realtors. Like, the value of that 3 to 6% commission is just really being called into question. When it comes down to it, as a realtor, what I would do if I was really trying to justify my case for why I'm getting paid 3 to 6%, they would teach us certain objections, right? And, going back into realtor mode, what I would say is like, all right, well, I'm a local expert. I can, point you in the direction of the right neighborhoods. I will write up your contracts for you. I will schedule your appointments. I'll guide you through the procedures. And as I continue to work through that process as a realtor, I just started realizing, like, how can we automate those functions where I'm really arguing for why I'm earning something and make it more efficient instead of just trying to preach like only I can do this, because I don't think that's true. And so that's what Vroombrick is really rooted in. It's like taking what a realtor does, automating parts of those processes, and then connecting you with the right stakeholders. Because I would say if I really had to argue for a realtor at this point, the negotiations and the contractual aspects are like the biggest value add. But we have a partner closing attorney who does all those things. And they're a part of the normal process anyway. Yeah, if I'm really trying to steel man the realtor side, those are sort of the things I would try to say. But when Vroomer comes into the picture and how we've been doing things with our platform, we've just been able to automate what I would normally be arguing in the past of my value proposition as a realtor.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment as far as how realtors are being questioned currently. And it sounds like Vroombrick is well positioned to facilitate any gaps that may be left when or if realtors begin to dwindle. So tell me a little bit about, I want to talk a little bit about the home buyers. Today's home buyers expect instant responses and personalized recommendations, right? So how do you see AI playing a role in engaging and converting buyers more effectively?
Yeah. I mean, AI nowadays, there's a lot of companies that are like basically chat GPT wrappers that you can train on certain data sets. When you think about homes, there's a finite number of characteristics that you have to know about the home, and a lot of it is public information. There's really the only difference between MLS and what's shown on Zillow is something called agent remarks. There's sometimes like confidential notes that the agents will include. And so I would say like today, like 99% of the info you would want to know about a house, you can just find online, whether it's through Zillow, the public property records. And I can see AI kind of packaging those things up and creating those instant responses, as you alluded to.
Okay. So as you mentioned, Zillow is a very large player in the market, the largest, I would say, as far as software marketplaces go for real estate. And more home buyers are researching online before ever speaking to an agent because that information is there. How important do you think educational content is in building trust with those buyers? And how does Vroombrick approach that?
Yeah, educational content is extremely important because that's a funnel into gaining trust for home buyers and sellers. And the way we approach that is providing a lot of free tools up front. You don't have to pay anything to sign up for our platform. We have free calculators that you can use to get acquainted with how much your monthly payment is going to be as a buyer or how much you'll net as a seller. So those are all free. We have a tool called the Offer Simulator, which just walks you through what you can do in terms of your options and how that impacts an overall seller's sentiment towards that offer. These are all just free things that we provide in what we call our knowledge center. And we have different free guides that you can use in terms of getting from the buying process, start of getting pre-approved all the way to the finish. And so we just like to lead with a lot of free education and content out there. And if you choose to use our platform, that's great. But we really just want to give you other options out there to using a realtor, because most people think when they're buying or selling, like, well, I have to use a realtor. But that's really not the case. You could do for sale by owner, or you could go directly to the listing agent. However, what people run into most of the time in that scenario is, okay, this looks pretty hard to do. I've got to manage all these things on my own. And then they end up going back to a realtor. We sort of just bridge that gap to make for sale by owner a lot more simple.
Absolutely. And I think that is most certainly the way that we are looking at the home. We are looking at the home buying process being in the future. I think that most buyers are going to approach it with the same and need the same tools that Vroombrick is offering in the marketplace. I think you guys are well positioned to take advantage of that. Can you tell me a little bit about the growth of the company? How has technology impacted your growth strategy?
Yeah, it's definitely helped us be more efficient. And, let me know if I'm going down the right train of thought with this question, but we pretty much use AI in terms of like ideation and making us more efficient every day. We utilize that type of technology on a daily basis to help us be more efficient, whether it's summarizing meeting notes, following up with emails, and making sure that we have the right transcripts. Like our phone calls just get transcribed into AI summaries so we can easily reference as a team, and update our HubSpot pipelines very easily. So it's definitely allowed us to grow at a faster rate at least than we would have without it.
Absolutely. I think being able to take the information that uh, you guys are working on in-house and package it in a way to where it's palatable for your customers is amazing, an amazing way to implement AI and allow it to make you more efficient. With that being said, can you tell me a little bit about what's working well for you right now and what's been a little bit frustrating or you think could be better?
Yeah. In general or with like just technology?
With technology.
Yeah, I would say I have to give a shout out to a software that we use to collaborate as a team. It's called OpenPhone. It's really good in terms of team collaboration. And I mentioned before, like how we have like AI transcripts for calls and we can easily just sync up on like, okay, my team member just had a call with so-and-so. What did they talk about? You no longer need to reach out to them and get a summary. You can just have that there and listen to the transcript or just have that snapshot of what the conversation was about. So it's really helping us in terms of collaboration because, with handling multiple users, buyers and sellers at a time, someone isn't going to be able to answer the phone at all times if they need support. So that's something that's going well. I'd say something that could use improvement. As we continue to get more and more leads in our pipeline, we've been experimenting with different CRMs. We've used like Monday.com CRM. Now we're currently using HubSpot. And I think like just getting down those systems because, initially we were only handling, one or two users a month. Now we're handling dozens of them and just trying to find that flow amongst our team when it comes to CRM management.
Absolutely. I think that's super important when it comes to the sales side of your business, being able to have quick responses to those prospects that come in, but also be organized via CRM or a similar tool so that you can continue that growth that you just spoke about. Can I ask which metrics are you most focused on improving?
Yeah, I would say when it comes to, we look at things in a very binary way in terms of like buyers and sellers, because there's two types of users on the platform. So our metrics we're really focused on for buyers is like showing volume, like how many users are going out there and seeing homes, because that's the barrier to really putting in offers. And so just trying to get those showing numbers up, lowering the friction it takes for someone to sign up on the platform and go out and see a house. And then on the seller side, it's the listing side. We syndicate your listing to every platform for you, so you don't have to, but like who is signing up on the seller side and actually filling out or getting through the steps to get to that submission form to get it to list. Those are really the two kind of metrics we're trying to lower as much friction as possible for our users to get to.
I think that first of all, those are very important metrics, and the idea of lowering the friction and keeping that as low as possible is the main thing that does help drive growth for companies. Also metrics. And where do you want to be in 6 or 12 months from now?
Yeah, 6 or 12 months from now. So we're currently in an accelerator program. It's Virginia's top startup accelerator program called Lighthouse Labs. It's really helped get us ready for our capital raise. Along those lines, what we're trying to do is raise capital this year to where we can grow and scale our team. 6 to 12 months from now, we would like to be the premier real estate technology company in the Hampton Roads area for military buyers and sellers. So when people think, oh, I need to sell my home because I'm getting orders to San Diego, we want people to think, hey, I have this other option and I should at least consider it. So the awareness phase of our company, 6 to 12 months from now, would really like to improve on that. In terms of goals overall, our beachhead market is military buyers and sellers. So just kind of having more partnerships with local veteran organizations. And then from there, that's how we can scale based off of where there are more military buyers and sellers. So for example, Texas has the highest VA loan volume. So getting back to your question, if we can really prove out our concept as a startup here in Virginia, I think it'll be very easy for us to do it in other military heavy states. And that's really the plan in the next 6 to 12 months.
Awesome. That sounds like a great strategy. Congratulations on joining that accelerator and having that team behind you guys. If you could solve one major challenge today, what would it be?
Time to iteration. Like we really try to iterate as fast as possible at Vroombrick when it comes to our development process. We have a great technical lead, but I think if we could build our in-house team when it comes to full stack developers, we could iterate a lot faster. Right now, we're all about operational workarounds. So we understand that software is slow. So, we'll add things to our backlog when it comes to making these software improvements, but we always try to find an operational workaround in the meantime, whether it's like a very gritty workaround where we're having to do something manual, then that's fine in the time being, but we would like to be able to iterate faster on the software side.
Absolutely. I think, as we both have said, software is really changing the real estate industry and helping propel companies forward. And, being able to be a bit more agile with software could definitely be beneficial. I want to take the time to say thank you, Leland. I appreciate you having this conversation with me. I think you provided some really interesting insights on the home buyers and sellers and how you guys are helping them, especially in the military communities. Is there anything, well, first of all, where can they find you if they want to reach out? You want to give out any socials or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, just my name, Leland Ramirez. And then our website is vroombrick.com. And then Vroombrick has social media on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So it'd be pretty easy to find us on those avenues. But thank you for having me as well. And I guess if I could leave with one parting thought, the thing I would like to kind of throw out there is technology has lowered costs for consumers across industries like insurance, travel. You think of Lemonade Insurance, you think of Expedia for travel, recruiting, think of sites like Indeed. But when you think of real estate, the commission and the prices have stayed the same for so long. And the food for thought I really want to throw out there is, why is that the case? And who is going to come in to disrupt that? We hope to be that player, but I think it's going to take a team. It's not a zero-sum game. There's going to be other players in the space. And, just excited about what the future holds for real estate in general.
Agree 100% with that sentiment. Real estate is an industry that's wonderful. There's a ton of potential for people to change their lives and find their dream homes and live out their dreams, but it's very antiquated, right? We've been dealing with the same systems, the same softwares, and we're at a point now where it is possible for technology to change that. And conversations like this and companies like Vroombrick are going to propel that mission forward, I believe. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for your insights. And we're signing off Assets and Algorithms.
Awesome. Yeah. Are we live still, or are we good?
Stop it.